Okay, we're here interviewing George Misko at the Archibald Historical Society, November 8th, 2024.
I got a couple for my buddy.
What was the names of your parents?
My name of my parents?
Yeah,
Misko,
I mean their first names.
George.
George, okay. How many siblings did you have?
It's about 8, I think, yeah, altogether.
Okay, were you born here in,
And Einen,
okay, how old are you now?
97.
97 now, okay.
I was born at 110 Edwards Court in Einen.
Okay, is that house still there now or no?
No, they ripped that down. They ripped it down.
Okay, when did you move in that house where you're at now?
Let's see, I was 12 years old when I moved into that house where I'm at now.
And your father bought that house or your parents bought it?
No, that was passed on to us from the family, like the
Yeah.
grandmother and this and that and everything.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's see. Does your parents know anything about their parents or their ancestors? Does your parents, did they know anything about your grandparents? Did it tell you anything about them, where they came from? Or?
No, not too much. They didn't tell you much or anything, you know.
Okay. How about what did your father do for a living?
He's my coal miner.
What mines did he work in? Do you remember? Oh, okay, up here in Einen. Now, was your parents born here in Einen too?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware of it, yeah.
Okay.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brothers and three sisters.
Oh, okay. And go ahead.
Did they all live in Einen?
Yeah.
Or did they move away or no?
Oh, they moved there. The girls moved out on to Jersey, down New Jersey, and they spent the rest of their life out there in marriage.
How many is still living now?
Well, none of them. I'm the only one left out of the whole family.
Wow.
You're the last one, huh?
Yeah, Dander, yeah.
Wow. Okay. The street up there where you lived there, were they dirt streets back then? Were they dirt roads back then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Where did you go to school?
Well, I went to Ina School over there where it's at now, but that building wasn't there. It was a different building then at that time. I went there, and there's a couple other places I went to. They have them in the houses, the schools, you know.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you go in there maybe for a week or something, then they chase you, they put you in a different place and go a different school and different house, and
Wow.
that was confusing in them days.
Who was the oldest in your family of all the kids? Were you the youngest?
No, my brother Andy, he passed away though. He passed away quite a few years ago. He was the oldest one. He was, let's see, this year, 97, 98, 99, Andy was about 100 right now, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Did you keep any livestock, like a
Any animals?
cow or something like that, or?
Chickens?
Yeah, we had chickens, we had a couple pigs, and that was to feed the family.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where did you go to buy food? Like, were there any stores in the area?
There wasn't very much, no. That there, right next to the post office was that, what was that, Shambursky, or what was his name there?
I think that's what it was.
It might have been Shambursky's, I don't know. But basically, that's where we went, like...
On the main street there.
Yeah, on the main street, yeah.
Wasn't there a store right around the corner from you? You go down and make a left on, you said there was one down there too, right?
Yeah, that was, what the heck was his name there? Yeah, it was just a small store. It was a house, and in front of his house, he had 1 or 2 rooms there, like in the front there.
Yeah.
And he just stripped it down, and he just made a store out of it. And he just had some canned stuff, and there was some bread, and one thing of cigarettes, or one thing in there. I forget that guy's name there.
Now, did you guys have indoor plumbing growing up, or electricity, or anything like that?
Electricity.
When did you get that?
It's a good thing you mentioned that. For the first 12 years of my life, 12 years I'm saying, We had no electricity whatsoever. Not even just flip the button one time and the light goes on. Everything was by a kerosene lamp. We had kerosene lamps, about 4 or 5 of them in the house. And anything you had to do, you do it before it gets dark. And you have your kerosene lamps on the table and the matches and the kerosene right next to the lamps and everything, this and that. And you have everything ready before it gets dark.
Oh, wow.
And then when I do schoolwork, they give me schoolwork. When I do, you light the kerosene lamp, and it's bright. And then after a while, it starts getting dimmer and dimmer, and you're going like this. You're reading your schoolwork.
Wow.
And then it starts smoking. It starts smoking the kerosene lamps, you know,
Wow.
and everything. So that's all we had for 12 years. So then when we moved into this house, I was 12 years old. When I walked into the house, they had electric in there. And I went in, there was a switch there, and I didn't know what that was really. And I hit that switch like that. The light came on. I was just struck, like amazed.
Yeah, wow. What'd you heat the house with? How'd you heat your house back then?
Well, we had just a regular stove there, you know, a cooking stove like, and it was just wood and papers.
Yeah.
And we go up the woods and we find any sticks like dried out about this big or so. We break them up, we put them in a wheelbarrow, and then we wheel them down to the house and we put them up in the barn.
Oh, wow.
And then when we want to start the fire, we go up there in the barn and we get in a pail full, a water pail, like, you know, and we fill it up with the wood there and everything. We get some newspapers thrown in there and everything. You light the stove and everything. After it gets going, then we put coal on it.
Yeah. So that heated the whole house along with cooking the food too?
Well, yeah, for cooking, everything was done on the stove there.
Your second floor, like have a hole, you know, so the heat will go up?
No, on the second floor, it was not there. It was just my sister and me, my brothers, we had our own room there, like, and the three of us would sleep together in the bed, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because there was no room for everybody, like, and everything is. So, so you go up there and you're sleeping there, and it gets cold there, and we got the three of us sleeping there, and it gets cold, and then you pull the blankets to get over on your side, you know, and they get cold, and then they pull the blankets off. This and that. That goes back on all night.
Wow. So it was colder on the second.
And then we had 2 outhouses outside of the building, outside of the building. So sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to go to the bathroom. It's snow and it's cold, rain and sleet. You have to go out, go down to the outhouses there and everything. You leave the door open, the wind is blowing. There's ice on a seat where you got to sit down on and everything. So, like I said, it wasn't really fun.
No.
Was there one for the girls and one for the boys?
Well,
Or what?
no, it was one for the boys and for the girls, but the girls goes down at a separate time. When
Yeah.
it was done for boys, and they tell you, get out of here, you know, or something like that, and then I'm not done yet, or
What
something.
they use for paper for cleaning up?
Newspapers.
Really?
Newspapers or paper from the bags, you know, from grocery bags,
Yeah.
or anything you can find.
My
Anything.
father said he used a Sears catalog sometimes, you know, on paper, you know.
How about
Anything at all.
Corn cobs? Didn't you say once corn cobs? You use corn cobs?
Corn cob. Oh, yeah, that's when that there, my father-in-law, when I got married, the father-in-law there, he used to live on a farm, and that's what they used to use.
Oh, wow.
Inside the outhouse there, he had a cardboard box there and everything, and he filled that up with the thing. After you eat the corn, you don't throw the cobs away. You put them in there and you let them dry out. So then when you got to go to the bathroom, you use the corn cob.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. It's not like now.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Now, you
sure.
mentioned a farm. Was there any farms up there in Einan?
They used to be right where that Daystrom used to be. They used to call it Daystrom.
Yeah.
Well, a guy used to have that property there. He was a farmer. and he lived up right where Daystrom is now, right in that general area there. He had a farm up there. He lived there alone, and he had apple trees and stuff like that and everything. We used to go up there once in a while, and when he was around, we would sneak some apples out of there and put them in our pockets, this and that, and one thing and another. And his name was Prope.
Prope.
Prope. I think it's spelled P-R-O-P-E.
Oh, wow.
So what he did, he took and he hung himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Up there where Daystrom?
That's the story I got from all the people at in them days.
Oh.
That's what everybody told, and that's what they told me, and that's what I know about that.
Oh, wow.
Probe.
Where'd you go to church?
Church in that Lithuanian church right on Church Street there. Not Church Street. Church.
Oh, the one they
gone.
tore down.
Yeah, the one that were ripped
Tore down,
apart.
yeah.
Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How about school?
How close was the school to you?
Well, the school was not too far away, about 5-6 blocks maybe.
No buses, right? You had to walk?
Oh no buses. Are you kidding? No. No.
No snow days either, right? You walk in the snow too?
Snow, sure.
Yeah.
It don't matter, snow or what, you go to school and that's it, you walk.
Wow. Do you remember any of your teachers' names?
I can remember the very, very first time I ever went to school to first grade. I went over in Rogers Hall, that big building on the main street.
Second floor, right?
That was my uncle. That was my uncle. And he married my father's sister.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Oh,
What was your favorite subject in school?
At school? I can't say I have a favorite. Because in them days, we wasn't really interested in education, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's,
Just reading, writing?
yeah, it's all just
How many
in
grades?
general.
Well, how many grades were in the one room? They have multiple grades in there too?
Oh, yeah. One part of the school, like now, where it's at now,
Yeah.
there was like a second grade in one window there, one room. Then you finish that maybe for half an hour or so, and then they tell you go over to the other class, and so different grades, different rooms,
Yeah. Wow.
and everything.
When you got out of school, did you start working as soon as you got out, or?
Oh, I worked before, even when I went to school, like, I used to go up in Mondale up there, that Arthur Clark had an orchard up there, an apple orchard and stuff like that and everything, and he used to always come down and get me with his pickup truck. And he'd take me up to Mondale there, and we'd go up there and we'd picking apples and everything, and then we put them in baskets, and then he'd take the baskets and he'd store them over in his garage there. Then we'd take them out of there, and we'd put them down in Scranton into the warehouse down there where it's cold, refrigeration down there.
Yeah.
And then when the time comes, there's no apples around anymore. So he'd come in and get me. We'd go get the apples. We'd take them down to Scranton or Dixon or wherever, this or that or something. And we'd take the apples and we'd go from house to house trying to sell apples.
Oh, wow.
And Arthur Clark would find out the nicest apple in the bushel basket, and he'd say, "Here, take this one here." So we go out and knock on the door. He said, "You want any apples today?" And she said, "What kind of apples are they?" I showed her. Oh, she said, "They're beautiful." You know.
Oh, wow.
And she said, "How much are they?" I said, $2 a bushel.
You say there was a guy who used to drive around selling chickens, live chickens?
Oh yeah. That guy. What the heck was his name there? It's. I can't remember at the moment there. But he used to bring them around with a pickup truck, and he has the cages inside the back of the truck there and everything. And he'd have live chickens in there and everything. And the chickens used to be like 35 cents.
Yeah.
And so that their next door lady there, Mrs. Schneppes, she'd come out and they'd blow the horn, you know, that he's out there, and they'd come out there, and my mother would come out there, and they'd be looking around, looking at the chickens and this and that. And Mr. Schneppes says, "Boy, that's a nice fat one right there," and everything. She says, "How much is that one?" So he raised the price from 35 cents to 50, you know. He said, oh, that one is 50 cents. And she said, oh, Jesus, my husband ain't working. He says, I'd like to have that chicken there, this and that and everything, you know. So anyway, they'd agree on a price. She'd knock the price down a little bit. He'd knock it down a little bit, and he'd sell it a little bit cheaper and everything. Then she said, you have to kill that chicken for me. So he'd reach in and get that chicken there, and he'd get it by the neck. And he'd twist it like this, and he'd kill the chicken, you know, and he'd give it to her. Then she'd take it over to the house, and she'd put all the feathers out, and she'd take the guts out and everything, and then they cook it for soups and stuff like that and everything. So it's...
Is that the kind of meat you mostly had, chicken, or did you have beef at all? Or no?
Oh, there's different things, you know. You plant stuff in the garden, and tomatoes, like you have tomato soups, and one thing or another, and potato soups, and eat whatever is available, you know. This and that and everything. So it's... well, we used to have chickens. Once in a while you kill a chicken, and so we kill a pig. And if we kill a pig there, the neighbors would come over to help us. And they'd help us kill the pig and everything. So we didn't have no refrigerators, just we had the ice box out on the porch.
Yeah.
So you couldn't keep the meat in the ice box because it would spoil. So what you do, the neighbors would come over and help. So what you do, you give a whole pile of it to the neighbors. And then the next time, the neighbors, they usually have pigs or a cow or something like that, and they kill it. We go over and help them kill it, and then they give it back to us. So in other words, that was our refrigeration system right there.
Yeah.
And everything, so it's...
Wow. How often did the Iceman come around?
It all depends on the weather. Like if it was hot, he'd come every second day.
Wow.
And the fancy from Archibald over here.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he would bring the ice over. And it was a quarter of a block. This big.
Yeah.
And he'd get that ice from over in Heart Lake.
Oh, really? Okay.
They go up there with a saw. They didn't have no chainsaws. They just had one of them big saws, like for cutting lumber, you know. And they make a hole in there, and then they cut the block out and everything. And then they had them grabbers. They grab the ice and take it out. They take it, they put it over in the truck, and they got sawdust in there to keep it from melting, this and that. And then he'd bring it down in Archibald, and he'd put it in the shanty in there because they had a lot of sawdust in there and just stuff like that and everything. And it's in a shaded area under the trees.
That's still there.
Yeah.
Shanty.
Oh, yeah. That shanty's probably still there and everything.
Yep.
So it's, yeah, that was our refrigeration stuff and everything. And then anything you put in the ice box, you can't keep it there.
No.
You keep it there for a day, 2 days or so, and you have to go to the store 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
You have to go for breakfast, the store, for dinner, for store, and then for supper, because it's spoiled.
Yeah.
You
How
put
did
it
they
in.
keep it cool in the store? Did they have electricity?
Oh, they had a refrigeration in there, like some kind of stuff to keep it cool and this and that and everything. And when you go to the store, you don't have to have no money. Walk in the store, like you pull out your wallet, you say how much it is, you say $6 or something like that. You don't have to have no money. He had a book there, a notebook there, and he knows your name.
Yeah.
You got your name on there and everything. You walk in there, and he knows all the kids, our names and everything. So whatever we want the pork chops, or we want bread, or lunch meat, or this or that, and he'd mark it down, and then he'd mark the price, and he'd never tell you the price or nothing like that. This everything. Now that goes up for a whole month. So the guys from the mines, they get paid once a month. They're like. And then after on payday, say the bill was $30 or something, and maybe my dad would go over and talk to the guy. He had tough times and everything. He had a big family and everything, this and that and everything. I can't pay you no $30. I'll give you $20 down on it. So okay, no problem. This and that. That's the way they did. You didn't have to have no money like nowadays.
Now, you said those movie theaters up there, too. Didn't you used to advertise for them? The movie theaters? You used to walk around with the marquee on you?
Oh, yeah, at Bushko's. That was the dream. They opened that up in 1925.
Wow.
I think it was in 1925 they opened that up.
Is the building still there?
And well, it's all blocked off now. There's no movie there anymore. What they did, they got rid of that movie. Well, first of all, let me say this. They called that, when they opened that theater, they called that the Dreamland Theater. That went on for 3 years, and then they named it the Comfort Theater. And then after that, they took in 2 years later, they named it the Island Theater. And that's the way it was. So then after a while, it went out of business. They wasn't getting much customers, this or
Yeah.
that thing, and another. So they closed it up and everything. And they sold that building there to Harry Sugarman's. And Harry Sugarman's used that building for storage. Like when he gets all kind of boxes or what, this and that.
Yeah.
They put it in there for storage in there and everything. So,
How much did it cost to see a movie?
well, it was during the week. During the week, it was 12 cents, and then on a weekend it was a quarter. And they used to have 3 chapters, like they have Mickey Mouse, then they'd have Tarzan, and then they have something else, you know, and they'd have 3 of them, and then they'd have about two regular movies.
Yeah.
And
Did they have
everything.
sound?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, some of them was silent, some of it was sounds and everything. So it was like a quarter or something. So on the weekend, my mother would say, "Here's a quarter. Go to the movies here and get the heck out of my hair." You know, couldn't aggravate them, this and that and everything. So, but I used to work for the movies there, and. What they do, they'd have this was a cardboard, stiff cardboard. They'd have 2 pieces. They'd take a rope and they'd hook it onto this one, and the other one would be hooked on this side. Then they'd take it, they'd put it over my thing like this. And one would be in front of me, and the other one would be in back of me, So then I had to go from the movie house all the way up to the cop cars, up to the other end of town, you know. And anybody that's sitting on the porch, you'd have to stand there and be turned around so they can see what's playing in the back and in the front, you know, this and that and everything. So then by doing that, I go to the movies without cost.
Oh, cool.
I just go, that's collected the tickets there and everything, and I tell him, George Misko, and I say I work for Karen Decides. He says, oh, okay, go ahead and go ahead and then the next time something comes in and everything, he says, then I have to do the same thing, go from the movie house, go down into Peckville there. Down the hill there, you know.
Yeah.
I go down to the last house in Island, I turn around, and then I come back, and then I get in free again, and everything. So it's.
Did they have popcorn back then, or food in the movies?
Oh, well, they're not in the movies. No, they didn't have no food in the movies. You bring your own food, whatever.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because nobody could afford popcorn in the movies.
Probably, yeah. Wow. What else did your kids do growing up for fun? Did you play ball, or what'd you do? Ice skate or whatever?
Well, ice skating, yeah, we used to go ice skating quite a bit. There used to be a pond there back of our house there, up in the woods there. And it was a pretty good sized pond there and everything. A lot of the kids from Island would come down there, boys, girls, and everything. And they'd take a big 5-gallon cans or one of the big drums here, and they'd make holes in it, and they'd put wood in there and paper, and they'd start a fire there and everything. And you get cold when you're skating, everybody come by the fire there, and they stay around there, this and that and everything. So it's that's what we used to do for a hobby. Well, then we used to go fishing and one thing or another, all kind of stuff.
Did you do any hunting too?
Well, not much as a young boy, but later on in my life, every day.
Wow.
Every day, fishing, hunting, golfing.
Did you fish in the river at all, or was it polluted by then?
At the river?
Yeah.
What river is that?
Lackawanna, down here.
Oh, no.
I don't think there was
It was probably polluted, yeah, back then, yeah.
No.
What was the best lake for fishing in?
The best lake?
Yeah.
We used to go walk from Island up to Heart Lake.
Really? Wow.
And we had these bamboo poles from China, you know, they get the ones.
Yeah.
And we take it, we put them on our back, and we're walking up from Island all the way up to the lake. And we go up there, we fish there overnight.
Oh, really? Wow.
And we take some potatoes, and some of the farmers, they have potatoes planted or something. We go over and we dig them out by hand, and we take some potatoes, and we make a fire there by the shore, and we stay there overnight. We sleep on the grass.
Wow.
And then in the morning, ready when we wake up and everything, we take our poles, we walk it down instead of carrying them back into Island. We used to hide them in the bush. We hide them in the bush. So next time we don't have to carry them or anything like that and everything. So it's.
And the roads were all dirt going up there too, dirt roads.
No, there was paved. As far as I can remember, there was paved.
Who had the first car up in Einan? The first automobile?
That there, where the heck my memory button? Stanley Roger.
Stanley Rock. What kind of car was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was a Model A Ford, a green color, a green one.
Oh,
He used to go down Scranton with it, and sometimes we'd be out in front of on the road, on the highway, right where I lived there, you know, by the street pole there.
Yeah.
And we're playing there. A bunch of us kids was playing there, so and you could hear something coming up. But say, here comes Stanley Roger. he has that green car.
Wow.
He is the first one that had the car in Ireland.
how much did gas cost then?
Well, I can remember gas over in Childs there. That's the next to Clark Summit. What's that? Childs? No, that's not Childs. What's that? No, Childs is down this way, up there, next to Carpendale, this way, the first town.
Charles.
Well, that might have been Childs, yeah.
Mayfield.
From Clark Summit, this way, coming this way,
Oh.
out of what? Chinchilla?
Yeah,
Chinchilla.
Chinchilla,
Yeah.
Chinchilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chinchilla, I can remember gas was there 29 cents.
Really? Wow.
29 cents, but what that was all about, they was to have two gas stations, one on this side of the road, one on that side of the road. Mm-hmm. So if the guy dropped his price, he sold it for 29 cents. So if the other guy drops it down to 28, see, they had a gas war. And then I drop it down to 27. Then I got to drop it down to 26, 25. So what happened then after that, all these gas companies, they bought all these owners out, themselves owners,
Yeah.
and they had no more of the gas wars.
Wow.
You paid the price, what these big companies selling it for, and that's it.
All over. Yeah.
There was no more gas wars.
What was the first car? Or did your father have a car? Or what was it?
Yeah, a 1934 Chevy.
Oh, okay. You know what he paid for that?
Yeah, $110.
Brand new?
Oh, no. It was an old clunker. The motor was shot on it already, like and everything. I bought it down to Scranton there on the main drag. They go into Scranton there, and it was $110 I paid for that and everything. But the car didn't want to start. He had to go outside with the battery charger. He start the car up and everything. Boom, boom, boom. We started it up. So I backed it on. I got on onto the main drag there, onto the street there. The car going up and down and everything. The car stalled right out. So I had to go inside and get that guy to come out and hook it up with the battery again, take it inside there, up at the street and everything. And that was the biggest lemon I ever had in my life.
Now, you mentioned your father worked in the mines. Did he ever take you in the mines?
No, I worked in the mines.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, I worked in the mines for not long, maybe total, maybe a year and a half or something like that. It's
Did your brothers work in the mines too?
no, not the brothers. No. I worked in the mines, like I says, on and off. I worked over here on this road that goes down to the school, the German road.
Yeah.
That goes down to the schoolhouse. There used to be a mine over there.
Oh, wow.
And I worked in that mine there for maybe a couple of weeks or something like that.
Do you remember any bad accidents in the mine?
One time I was working down in the mines, I think down in Dixon City there, they had that mine down there. We got a job down there, and we was working down there, and we got our shift in, and then here comes a guy through the old Crosscut, and he comes over and he says, "Hey guys," he said, "you know what?" He said, the main road caved in. He said, Jesus, he said, how are we going to get out of here? That guy said, well, he says, I know an old way around the old crosscuts, you know. He said, we can get out that way. He says, follow me. So we went on our hands and knees and crawled out and everything. We got on the other side of the cave. And after that, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I gave up on that. I said, I don't need the money that bad.
Didn't you say once you were telling us down here,
Here's Tom Malone. I was just asking about Tom Malone. Yeah, that's Tom. I remember him.
your father used to take the dynamite home and store it?
I didn't know. The miner does that.
The miner?
Laborers don't do that.
Okay.
So what was your first job?
My first job was, I don't know if I really had like a first job. You work wherever you can find something like for days, couple days, or one
Like
thing or
a
another.
handyman or?
Yeah, so mostly like this.
Yeah.
If a guy needs help or something then he'd say, well, like a couple days or something like that, one thing or another, and on and off.
Now, Gash's store up there, that building's still there, right?
Yeah, it's still there, yeah.
It's the one on the left. There's two buildings side by side. The one on the left.
Well, no, that's one building there, like, you know. One
Okay.
building, it was the middle building.
Okay.
The middle one.
That right next to the church now you're talking about?
Yeah, well, from the church.
Yeah.
Okay, that building, as soon as you pass the church,
Yeah.
you go down the main street, that's one long building there.
That first building there?
Yeah,
Okay.
the first building on the right-hand side. So that middle building was Gash's,
Oh,
and Ruth Gash was his daughter.
yes.
Yeah.
So her father started the business?
I don't know who started it or anything, because like I said, I was just a young guy then at that time, you know,
it was
and
just
everything.
clothing?
And they had that store there. They used to sell all kind of stuff, more like hardware, clothes and stuff, and one thing or another, this and that and everything. Yeah, then,
How many other businesses were up in Ina, like different stores? Was there a lot of grocery stores?
everybody that had a house, and for the front of the stores, the front of the house, they emptied out and they put a store there.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you come up Kennedy Drive, you come up Kennedy Drive at the stop sign, instead of turning right or left, you go straight.
Right, up the
You
hill.
go up that hill.
Jones.
The very first house up on the top of the hill there, the next side street you go, like this one. I don't
Yeah.
know the name of that street there and everything. But up there, that was on the right-hand side of that building, that used to be the schoolhouse. I used to go to school there too, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to go to school there too.
Wasn't there a store up there across the street from the school?
I don't know. Across the street from the school was a store.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, they used to have a grocery store there.
Oh. How
Yeah.
about any bad fires in town? Do you remember them? Any bad fires?
Fires?
House or breaker fires or whatever?
Well, that house across the street from me, that caught fire 3 times.
Where you're at now?
Yeah, where we're at right now.
Really? Wow.
They caught fire 3 times and everything. And them days, what it was electrical problems.
Yeah.
So at them days, everybody thought, oh, I'm an electrician. I don't have no money to hire an electrician, this and that, one thing or another, this and that and everything. So they take some wires and they hook them up themselves, and the wires are probably too skinny to take all that power there. And first thing you know, they get hot and they burn the house. And it's three times it was on there. Now, coming down the main street, you're going to turn left. Right as soon as you pass the church, you can turn left. That's Church Street.
Right. Mhm.
Okay. Now, the very, very first house, as soon as you make a left-hand turn, that house on the left,
On the left, okay.
that used to be the Island Church.
Really? Wow.
So that church burned down, and what they decided to do to take it to church, make the church on the opposite side of the street where it's at right now.
Yeah. Oh.
And Ben Nash bought that piece of property where the church was, and they built a home there.
Wow.
Oh.
How many schools did they have up in Einan? Including the ones in the houses, too.
Oh, Jesus, let me see, there's so damn many of them there. Well, I'd say at least 5 or 6,
Oh.
at least. People that have no money.
Yeah.
They take and make a little store in front of the house. If they sell 50 cents a day or something, hey, that's 50 cents.
So most of the men up there worked in the mines then? Like
Oh,
miners?
most, yeah, that was, in them days, most of everybody was a miner.
How many breakers were up there in Einan?
Well, just that one that I know of.
The Northwest up there?
Yeah, the Northwest area, as far as that goes. Basically, that was the main one of everything.
Wow. When did they shut that down, do you remember?
It burned.
No,
Burned, right?
Take it
I don't know for sure when they shut it down and everything.
Yeah, pretty sure.
But the miners, they used to get, I think, paid once a month.
Yeah.
And they call that the paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
The doubles, the doubles and the paychecks, they call them.
Oh, wow. Now, did you guys always have enough food in the house for everybody, or how many meals a day did you eat?
Oh yeah, we'd have our meal. Mom seen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have to come home like if you want supper or something. You got to be there at 4 o'clock or something, because you come at 5 o'clock. Mom will tell you. She said, "Hey, I'm not gonna be standing by the stove and cooking for everybody anytime they come home. The meals is at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. You'll be here if you want to eat. If not, you go to bed hungry."
How many meals a day did you eat?
Well, whatever. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Yeah. So like you get up in the morning, you have something to eat or something. Then first thing you know, you're out in the woods, you're walking around, you're hot, you're picking berries, or you're one thing or another, this and that, or one thing or another, this and that. By the time you get home and everything, it's supper time already. So you miss your dinner. You miss the dinner like and everything. But everybody ate. Okay, everybody grew up and.
How about special holidays? Did you have special food like for Easter and
Oh yeah. For the holidays, yeah.
Thanksgiving?
Mom would make sure that when the holidays comes, like around Easter, Christmas, we had a big table like in the room there and everything, and we put all the dishes down there, and everybody would sit down at the table according to your age.
Oh.
Like my dad, and then my sister was the next oldest, and then my brother, and then all the way around, you go according to age, you know. And everybody would get a plate.
Yeah.
And get their food all day.
How about presents for Christmas? You get a lot of presents or no?
Not too much in them days. There wasn't much money for presents. It was back in the olden days.
How about toys? What kind of toys?
Toys, yeah. Usually they scrounge up some kind of toys. Some of them were used toys or
Like dolls?
Mickey Mouse, Donald Ducks. You crank them up. You got the crank in the back. You crank them up, and they're walking and stuff like that and everything. So it's yeah.
Well, let's see. So you got married up in Einan too? Was your wife from Einan?
My wife from Einan?
Yeah, was she?
No. She was from down in Witten down here.
Okay.
So where'd you get married? Down?
Well, I got married twice.
Oh, you were
Oh, yeah. I married a girl from Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you have a reception? Like, a party after, or no?
No money for that?
No.
Yes.
Wow. How about vacations? Did you take vacations back then or no?
No, there was no money for vacations.
Yeah.
No.
People just mostly work then, right? Just work, eat, sleep, right?
Yeah, basically that's what it amounted to.
Wow. Was there more people back then living in Einan or now?
Nah. Year after year, people moved into Einan, and it's people come from the old country. They're moving in one thing or another, and then they have kids, and they got their own home. They build another house. So a little bit at a time, Einan started building it just like any other town. It's this and that and everything.
How many contractors were there around to build the homes? Was there a lot of contractors?
Contractors?
To build the houses, yeah.
I don't know. I was never tangled up into that.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What else do you remember about living up there in the old days in Einan?
Yeah.
What else do you remember that we might be interested in hearing?
Oh, that there, them days there, we didn't have no showers, like,
Right.
and we didn't have none of that stuff. You know, well, we had a wash tub. It was galvanized, like, you know, about this big and everything. So what we do, you take a couple of pots and you fill it up with water and you put them on the stove and you get it warm. And then when you want to take a shower, one person at a time, you dump that water into that big tub, and then you go there with a washcloth and soap. You wash your soap off and everything, this and that and everything. And you got a big curtain hanging down so nobody else can go in there while you're taking your shower, this and that and everything, you know. The men, the boys and the girls and all that and everything. But that's the way you got cleaned up and everything.
Yeah. Now, you bought soap, or did you make your own soap?
No, I don't remember the soap, about who made it or what or anything. But
How
that's the
about,
way how you used to wash.
how about snacks like ice cream? Did you have stuff like that? Ice cream or?
Yeah, Harry Sugars. We would go up to Sugars.
really?
Harry Sugars had that store up on Main Street. And I used to know Harry pretty good because that there, when Harry wanted to go fishing, he'd always come down and get a hold of me because the kids would be out in front of his store, and they're hanging around there and everything. And they asked the kids, he never called me George. He always called me Misko. He asked them kids, he says, hey, do you know where Misko's at? He says, he's probably down the house. He said, go down and tell him I want to see him. So the kids come down and say, hey, Harry Sugar wants to see you. So I go up there, and Harry says, George, he said, Misko, what are you doing today? I said, no, nothing special or anything. He says, I want to go fishing up in Chapel Lake. He said, would you have time to go up there and row the boat for me and everything? He said, I got about 3-4 hours to go up there, you know. And I said, yeah, I'll go. So we jump in Harry's vehicle. He take us up there. We rent the boat up there and everything. We go out, and I take him over to my spots because I knew where most of the fish were. Where I fish that lake a lot. I knew where I catch the fish. So I take Harry over there. I tell Harry, throw it over there. He used to fly fish. He was a fly fisherman. He threw it over there once in a while. And pooh, he got one just and boy, he put a big smile on his face and everything. Then when he got no more, I take him to another spot and everything. So then after that, I go in there if I want ice cream. And Harry's around there. He said, George, have yourself an ice cream at the house. Then he'd give me a couple of bucks for rowing the boat, you know.
Where was his store? Where the old
On the main street, right across from where the church was, right on the opposite side of the street, right on that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on that corner.
What did he sell when he first opened up?
Oh, man, all of a sudden he had an ice cream counter there, and he sells ice cream and sundaes and one thing or another, and stuff like that, you know, nothing special. No clothing or nothing.
No clothing?
No, none of that stuff. No, that was just mostly an ice cream parlor, like, you know. And he used to sell prescription drugs. And he was licensed to do that too.
He was a pharmacist, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You start selling washers, dryers, like upstairs. So
Oh yeah. Then they put that new building on it, that addition. They put that building on there, and then they start stocking that place up, and then they had all kind of stuff up in there, washing machines and God knows what
I
and
was in
everything.
there when I was about 5. That's it.
On the second floor there, like up and everything there.
forget it.
Yeah, I was in there. I remember the first floor. I didn't go upstairs, but I remember going there. I was about 5 years old. Yeah.
I can remember the first television I ever seen in my life. I was standing in front of Sugarman's in that addition they put onto the building there, and I was standing there by the window, and I heard some kind of noise, and I turned my head and I looked, and I seen a picture on a screen, like, you know, it was about that big. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look. That thing started rolling then. They used to roll in them days. You know, it was stay stationary like today's.
Yeah.
And it started rolling. I'm looking, and then the screen started going down. You go like this with your head. you follow the roller when it's going down, like, you know, and everything. That's the first I ever seen. That was black and white.
Yeah.
That
How
was
about
black.
radios? Did you guys have a radio in the house? You have a radio?
A radio, yeah. We had a radio. Yeah, we used to listen to the WWVA, Wheeling, West Virginia, country western songs and there. Then we used to, me and Dad, we used to listen to the boxing matches, this and that and everything. And
Wow, cool.
I asked my dad, I said, who do you think is going to win? And he said, there's a white guy and a colored guy, fighting. And I asked my dad, how do you think is going to win? He said, the colored guy. The black guy, he said.
What kind of shows were on the radio? They have what kind of shows on the radio? Was it just music, or did they have talk shows on there?
And when you're going down Main Street, as soon as you pass off the VFW, the very next street on the right-hand side, that's what, West Street?
Yeah,
That's West Street.
yeah.
Okay, as soon as you make that right-hand turn, all them houses in there,
Yeah.
them houses, that was a big open field. And once or twice a year, they have the carnival would come in there for 3 days. And they have the merry-go-round, and they have these auctioneers, and the guy up on a stand, he got a stand there, he's standing up on top of the stand there, and he's talking about medicines, this and that and everything. And the people standing back of us, So he said, come on, folks, come on in here, listen to what I've got to tell you. This is very good for you, this and that and everything. And he's got a bottle of this stuff. Everything was in bottles in them days.
Yeah.
And everything was in a bottle. So he has the bottle, and he shake it a little bit, and he take a little slug of it himself. Now how much cheese you go, a sip like And he said, this is good for anything, for heartaches, for rheumatism, arthritis, anything at all. He said, this is the best, this and that, and everything. And the people's right by the stand, and they're listening to him and everything. As soon as he gets finished talking, they didn't have no money, so everybody walks away.
What was his name?
The guy started.
What was his name? Do you remember his name?
No, I don't know. He was working for the circus there.
Oh, wow.
He came with the circus there. They was there for 3 days, and then they're gone and everything. Then after a while, the circus quit coming in there, so I guess somebody sold that land, and everybody started building houses in there and everything. So it's.
Did the circus come to town a lot?
Twice a year.
Really? Wow.
Twice a year they used to come there, and everything. So.
How about music? Was there any orchestras, any bands around that played music? Or?
Not that I recall. Over at Rogers Hall there, they used to have a polka band once in a while, and maybe some other music once in a while, but very seldom there. Up on the second floor there. And that used to be our schoolhouse up on the second floor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be the schoolhouse up there.
It was always owned by Rogers?
Yeah, Roger owned that, yeah.
He was the father of Ray Rogers, right? Ray and Lester Rogers?
Yeah, Lester, yeah. Stanley was the father.
Yeah. How many kids did they have? A lot?
I would estimate 7 or 8.
Wow. How many kids did you have?
I only had 2.
Okay. Did they have a lot of big families back then?
Oh, sure.
Did they really? Yeah.
Because they worked in the mines, and nobody had no money, so they didn't have any money to buy condoms or anything, to prevent pregnancy or anything like that. So they just go right at it, and that's it. They didn't have no money for that. First thing you know, they got a house full of kids. Yeah, that's the way it was in them days.
Yeah. But you said what? It was a quarter or 39 cents for a chicken?
Oh, see, yeah, it was cheap at them days.
How about a milk? Gallon of milk? What would that cost?
What?
A gallon of milk.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look on one of these to find out that price.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Did any of the neighbors have?
Well, most of that milk, they used to get that from the cows. Like Stanley Rogers, he had a cow over there, and his daughter Stella. That was the one that was deformed. Her face was deformed and everything, So she used to have a cow there in back of the building there, and she'd milk the cow and everything. And my mother said, "Go over to see Stella and get some milk over there." She gave me a pail. So I go over to Stella, my mother wants a pail of milk and everything. She said, "Well, I can't give it to you now." She says, "I got to run it through the strainer." So she has a big pail there, and she puts a white cloth on there, and she dump it on there to run it through the cloth. and everything, and then she'd sell it to you.
How long would it last? Because it wasn't pasteurized. How long would the milk last? You have to drink it fast?
I don't know what it all depends. Sometimes it goes quick, sometimes it don't, and it's yeah, that was the old days.
What else do you remember that, any other questions you guys have?
Down in Providence.
Yeah.
From Providence all the ways up here, this used to be a dirt road right to Carbondale.
Yes.
Yes. So they started over in Providence and they paved that road. Then they come down to the next town, they paved that road. The next town they paved that road. And they continued all the way up to Einen, then down to German, down to Mayfield, up into Carpendale, and that's where it ended up, as far as the roads go. They built it all at the same time, you know, this and that and everything. So it's.
Do you remember when they built Route 6?
Route 6?
Yeah.
Route 6 was built a little bit before Sugarman's came in there. A matter of fact, this stick right here, in front of the Sugarman's store on Route 6.
Yeah.
There was a tree growing there. I was a young guy at that time.
Yeah.
And this was one of the branches that was growing on the tree.
Oh, wow.
So I went home and I got a saw and I took it and cut this branch off. And I took it home and I put it out in the sun and I got all the bark to dry up, and then I skinned all the bark off of this here and everything. Then I got the bark off of that tree and I took and I cut that bark to this shape. But it was wet.
Yeah, yeah.
It was wet. I soaked it for about 2 days. And I took a measuring device and I cut it the same size and everything. So after it dried out and everything, it was wet in there for 2 days. After it dried out and everything, then I had all the bark taken off of this. And then I took that bark and I can turn it this way and it won't crack or break because it was wet and it had the water in there, you know. So then I made a handle for this here and everything. Out of a piece of wood and everything. And after this dried out and everything, no nails, no glues, no nothing. I just took and I put this thing right underneath there, and this one underneath here. And I took and I put about 5 coats of varnish on there and everything. That's been on there for years and years and years, and it's just as nice now as the day I put it on there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
How old is that cane?
That was right before Route 6 even come in there.
Wow.
Before Route 6 and before Sugarman's. So that's my souvenir.
That was just woods up there before?
Oh, yeah, there was all kind of. We used to go picking mushrooms there, blueberries, and one thing or another around there. Anything we could find to eat.
Where was that pond you were talking about behind your house? That was the first house where you're born? You said there was a pond behind it?
A pond?
Yeah. Didn't you say there was a pond there?
Oh.
Behind the house where you were born?
It was like a swimming pool. Not a swimming pool, but a creek that came out of the mines. And it come around down and it goes right across Betty Street.
Okay. Is that creek still there today?
Well, I don't know. They got that all grown in now and everything.
Yeah.
So that creek, before it come into Betty Street, there's about 6, 7 of us that got together, and we took it. We pulled all the rocks out there from in there and everything, and we made a swimming hole out of it, so we could go in there swimming and everything. And there was one guy that was in charge of it, a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So he come down and say, I go there and I want to go for swimming. He'd ask that other guy, did he take and bring 3 solders? You had to get 3 solders or 3 rocks to put it on the wall to hold that water back, and everything. He said, yeah, he got 3 solders. He put them on. Okay, you can go swimming. But if not, he said, get the hell out of here. He's a big guy, and everything. So you'd get the solders before you go in there.
You don't know his name, do you?
Beaky. Beaky was his last name. I don't know what his first name was. Benji. What the heck was his first name? His brother's name was Benji. I don't know what his first name was. I never heard his first name. I don't think he ever. They opened the door. We all went upstairs and this and that and everything. So the teacher's name was Mrs. Sproul.
Sproul with an S.
Sproul. How you spell it, I don't know. Sproul. That was my mother's friend. Because she used to come over to my house after class and she'd talk about my mother and this and that, one thing or another and everything. But they used to use that. Basically, that was for the school. And if they're going to have like a dance or something, they take all them school things and the chairs and everything, and they'd move it to one side of the building. And then they'd have the floor open up for the band, and people come up and they're dancing and one thing or another, and a wedding, like, you know, this and that and everything. Basically, that's all that was. That's all that was.
What did Mr. Rogers do besides that? Did he have another job or no? Mr. Rogers, did he have another job, or was that his only job with that?
Oh, Stanley Rogers, he was pretty well to do. Like
What did he do? He wasn't a miner, right?
I don't know, but he owned quite a few houses around, and he rented them out, and then a couple of other things he had going, and this one thing or another. That, I don't remember all his work and everything as far as that goes, but see, Stanley Roger married my father's sister,
Right.
and her name was Anna. So they got married. They had, I think, 7 or 8 kids, and then Stanley Roger, one of the boys, Stanley, he was a lawyer over around Philadelphia, over there someplace. He was in a lawyer business and everything. Yeah, so it's.
How many students were in your classroom? How many students were in your classroom?
Oh, roughly, I'd say maybe 15, 20 or something like that.
They heated it with a wood stove or a coal stove in the middle?
No, there was no heat in there that I could remember.
Wow.
But I think when we were at school, yeah, it was the worm season, like, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was the worm season there.
You didn't go in the summer, did you? No summer school, right?
No.
Did a lot of kids not not go to school and work in the mines?
No, some of the kids, I see that there, I was right up about the mines there and everything. Some of these kids are 12, 14 years old. They was working at the breaker. And as the coal and everything was coming down the chutes, them kids, they had a job and they was picking out that bony, what they call bony, that stone, like, you know. And they separate and they throw the stone in another cart, like in for junk, and then the coal would go through there, and then they put it in different containers and everything, and they sell it. They sell it and everything.
You never
like
did that, right? They were breaker boys, they call them, right? Breaker
Yeah,
boys?
breaker boys. Yeah, breaker boys. Yeah.
But you didn't do that, though, no?
No, I never. No, it's.
Yeah, it was a tough way to make a living.
Hey, I'm still here. I'm 97 and I can still yodel.
You got a good memory.
Yes, very good.
Well, not good, but
Excellent.
I forget some stuff too once in a while.
Oh, we got a good history of Ina now. We got.
Every time I forget something, what I do, I take my cane and I say, hey, what's going on up in the attic up there? Come on. Then I remember again.
Oh,
Yeah, it's. And back in them days, money was very, very tight. There was very little money around to spend or anything like that. So what we used to do, we used to go where people chose their junk out to the dumps there. There used to be 3, 4, 5, 6 dumps that we know. Nothing sloppy or anything. They throw cans out, cardboard boxes, some metal, this and that. We used to go around and pick up all the metal and all the papers, so the boxes and bottles and stuff like that. And this garbage man would come around the houses, and he had a horn. He'd be going, he stopped in front of the house. Beep, 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 beep. He stopped in front of the house, and we'd go outside. We'd have all this stuff saved on the side of the house, like iron, aluminum, or anything like that, and everything. So he'd come over, and he'd take a look at it, and he said, what you give me for that and everything? He said, well, I'll give you 35 cents or so, one thing or another, you know. So he'd take all this stuff and he'd put it in this truck here, and he'd take up and he'd go. Then he used to come back weekly. Because we used to go around and nothing in the dump was wasted. Anything, rags and anything like that, they was all being sold to him and everything, you know. So that's where we used to get some of our money.
I remember when I was a kid,
Used
there
to come
was,
to our house.
it was the rag man, that's what they used to say.
Yeah,
Was
the
that
rag
him,
man,
or
right,
was that-
right.
They called him the rag man?
Right, yeah.
Okay, because
The
I know
rag
him,
man, yeah.
and he collected metal and, because I just remember the truck.
Yeah.
I can picture it with all the
He'd
rags in
buy
it,
buy almost anything.
anything that you were getting rid of.
Almost anything.
I used to blow the horn.
Yeah, I remember that. I was about 6 years old. I still remember him. Probably a different guy, but
Yeah.
same business.
See, in them days, like them people there, they didn't throw anything away in the garbage dump that was pretty good, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything junk or anything that, they'd save it for themselves. Like them papers to start the stove and cardboard and one thing or another, they'd save it. And some of it was going to the toilet, into the toilet for waste, and just that, one thing or another and everything. So it's, nothing much went to
That's
waste.
why we didn't need a big dump, only a small one up on the hill there.
And every town had a dump. Was there an iron garbage dump?
Well, yeah, that what it was. It wasn't like nowadays one big
No, it was
garbage
just-
dump. It was people lives out on this side of the street. They go across the street, and the bank goes this way. They just take and dump it over the bank.
So there were garbage dumps sort of all over.
Yeah, all over. There was all over, but there wasn't what you call like dumps
Yeah,
like
not
today, like
organized.
stink and all that stuff and
no.
everything. Because anything that was half decent, the people never threw it away because they
Right.
kept it for themselves. But like metal and stuff like that was broken, no good, this and that, they just throw it over the thing. And we'd go down, the kids would pick it up, and we'd sell it and everything. So it's any kind of a trick you got that you can make a nickel or a dime, you take
Sure.
it.
Wasn't there a garbage dump along Kennedy Drive? You said they used to dump the
Yeah,
garbage?
there was there was two that I knew of. You know, right where they're gonna have the Veterans Stadium there. I bet there used to be a dirt road that goes in there. It wasn't very long. It was about maybe from here, I don't know, it's a couple of 100 yards, I guess, or something. There used to be a dirt road that goes in there. And people used to take and dump their stuff off there and everything. But it wasn't like garbage stuff. It was stuff like papers or cardboards or something
Yeah.
like that. One thing or another, this and that and everything.
Probably all gone now, right
And
away.
halfway down, we used to go down there and check that out every once in a while to
Oh,
see if
like
there
a
was
hole?
anything there, this and that, and value, this and that and everything. So then they took and they ripped that road all apart and they all grew it into through the woods there and all where that road used to be and everything. But from where they put the stadium in there, to the right, where that first house is there, it's like heading towards that house that way. And it used to be there, but they cleaned that all up and everything nice, it grew it in and everything, so it's, and then right on Kennedy Drive, as you're coming down, you're ready to come into Einen where it says, welcome to Einen. Well, about 1 block away before, maybe not even a block, where the first house is on the left-hand side of the
Yeah,
road there.
yeah.
Well, as soon as you pass that house off, they used to dump it right over the bank there. They used to dump stuff in there and everything, so people had no way to get rid of their garbage or anything like that, you know, so they had to do something with it. It's not like a guy comes around now, he takes it and this and that.
No garbage trucks then,
on
right?
certain
No.
days or something like that.
Yeah.
They had no place to get rid of it. Some people, they take it, they burn it.
They used to put it in the outhouses too, right?
Oh, sure.
garbage?
Sure.
But they use milk bottles, not cartons, not paper cartons. They're glass, right? They reuse them again? The milk bottles?
No, yeah.
That's where they find a lot of bottles, I guess, the old outhouses.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
It's a different world. Whoa.
Oh, from the mines, here's something that might be a little interest to you. From the mines over there, they used to take all that bony and that rock and everything, and they put it into these cars, these freight cars. They're about 2.5, 3 ton maybe or something like that. They filled that thing up, and they had a railroad track that would come from the mines across their German road. They had big planks, like about 6 by 6s, to hold the bridge up like that, you know. And it'd go right over there. They had the railroad track on that, and go right over on the other side. And then they'd go over on the other side, and down to the woods. They had all that cut out like that to make a path through there. And they put railroad tracks in there, put the ties in there and everything. And then they came out right by Kennedy Drive. Up there where Kennedy Drive starts, like where you go into that factory in there or whatever's in there. Well, right before there's a cop usually sits there with a thing on. Well, it comes out right there and across the road, Kennedy Drive, there was railroad tracks there, across the road, and to go about maybe 100 yards, 200 yards straight ahead, and then there's a bank there like this, and they dump all that bony and that there's chunks of coal in there and everything, you know. So in them days, we didn't have no money to buy heat or anything. We used to go down there with a pick and shovel, and we'd get a wheelbarrow, and we'd be digging through that thing. We'd find sometimes a nice chunk of coal, like the kids, they let it go by, you know. They'd find a nice chunk of coal, this and that and everything, and we'd take burlap bags, and we'd fill up the burlap bags, and we'd put them on a wheelbarrow, and then there was a path through the woods. We had it made out and everything, so we followed that path till we come down by our house, close to our house. So we don't have to wheel it through the woods itself and so on, you know, and there and everything. So that's the way it was in them days here.
Interesting.
No houses whatsoever right down into Archibald. None. There was no houses there.
On Kennedy Drive.
Yeah, on Kennedy Drive, on the right-hand side. You're leaving 9 and you're going to Kennedy Drive. All the houses in there, they cleaned all that out and everything. They used to call that place, there was a field in there. They called it pasture field. And Stanley Rogers had that cow at that thing. So every day they had a trail cut out through the woods. So the cows can walk up through that trail there and get over out to pasture field. Onto pasture field, you know, so they'd have something to eat because there was grass like growing there and everything for the cows to eat and everything and everything. So they take the cows every day, and they take and there was another guy that had a cow too, and he'd take his cow too, the two of them, and they take it up on the pasture field, and they leave the cows there until the evening, and then the evening ready they come back, and they have them, they milk them or whenever they're going to milk them or everything like that, everything. But that's what it was for. So now they ripped all that apart, cleaned it out, and where pasture field was, there's the houses there now.
Wow.
Sure.
George, where did the old Ridge Road that come out of Archibald connect to Kennedy now?
On Archibald?
Like, where did it connect? Like, around, like, Columbus Drive there, maybe?
I don't know.
Or a little ways further, maybe?
I don't know. I can't place that.
Because the old Ridge Road, you know, used to be like, across from where I live. And it met Kennedy somewhere. It didn't go all the way down the hill. Down to the bank. Yet.
Well, as you're coming like from German, you're coming over into Einen there, and right before you come to the first houses in Einen, where Groovy had that garage there.
Yeah.
The road goes this way, right? Right, it drops down like that. It goes there. Well, that's where that railroad track that I was just talking about, where that track, they had a bridge there, and it go across, taking it come out by Kennedy Drive.
So if you had to go to Archibald, which way did you go?
Oh, nowadays, well,
Yeah.
Kennedy Drive was still there.
Yeah, it didn't go all the way down the way it does now, right?
Well,
Because Ridge Road used to come across from my house. So it must have met. It wasn't Kennedy Drive. It was Ridge Road then too, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was.
But I don't think it come all the way down the hill.
well, there's things that you could remember, things that you can't, you know.
We used to
it's,
go across the creek, and that the bridge washed out. Going into Archibald. I don't know when that or when that, where it actually met, Kennedy.
I don't know. I can't recall.
Had to be past Columbus Drive there somewhere.
That place that Pete and Rennie's, they got that restaurant over there. That used to be Graben's gas station. That was a gas station at one time. And Steve Graben was the owner. Joe Graben was one of his sons, and Johnny Graben was his younger brother, and the son rather, and everything. So, but they were selling gas over there. I think it was 28 or 29 cents a gallon of gas and everything, this and that. But that was a gas station there. And that building where they got the restaurant now and everything, that was for the gas station. They used to keep the oil and maps and all that stuff in that place there and everything. So, I was going to say, the year of 1941, I didn't have nothing to do. I was walking around, so Johnny was taking care of the gas station there, you know. So I figured, well, I'm going to go stop over and see Johnny for a while, talk with him. So I walked in, and Johnny had a counter like this. It was the glass top, and all the stuff was in there, like the maps, the oil, and all that stuff for the garage and everything. So anyway, so I came in there, and I was talking to Johnny, and he had the radio on. It was up on the shelf there, like, you know, and the music was playing there. So we're playing there, and I'm talking to Johnny back and forth and everything, and then all of a sudden it says, "We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin. The President of the United States." And he came on and he says, "I, President Roosevelt, do by here declare war on Japan. They bombed Pearl Harbor and this and that." And I was sitting on a chair. The chair was colored green. It was a wooden chair, homemade one. And I was sitting over there, and Johnny was over there. And he said, "I declare war on this day, December the 7th, 1941, on Japan," and this and that. And then the music stopped, like, you know, and then the music come back on again and everything. I remember that just like it was yesterday. 1941.
And Graben lived next door, because I know Mrs. Graben lived to be close to 100. That's Nancy's mother. And it was the house next to Pete and Rainey's that they lived in.
Do you remember the place across the street that burned?
Vaguely.
The station? Boy, that was a hot fire.
I don't remember what. I remember I was a kid, and my father was a volunteer at the time, so I remember sitting in the car.
Had to go
while
down
they
to
were
Betty Street to the plug.
Yeah, I don't
back.
remember that much of it. I just remember.
Boy, that was hot.
But then John Graben built a gas station going down the Iron Hill,
I remember that one.
where
Yeah.
where the
Yeah,
Prudential building is now.
Yeah, I bought gas there.
Yeah, I remember that. They used to call that guy Greasy Graben.
Yeah, just because he was a mechanic kind of thing, or was there something else to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions? You guys have questions? No? Well, we want to thank you. That's very interesting there. And excellent. Thanks.